Welcome, children. Today we are going to see Heredity and Evolution, Chapter 9, Part 4. So, in this module, we are going to see what is evolution and how does evolution occurs with some examples. First of all, what is evolution? Evolution is formation of complex species from the simpler form. So, from already existing simpler form, how complex species are formed, that is called evolution. And this evolution does not happen all of a sudden. It's a very slow process, and because of evolution, diversity of organisms happens. So, diverse organisms are produced because of evolution, and this is influenced by the environmental factor, that is the evolution is influenced by the environmental selection. So let me see what is evolution. Evolution is gradual development of more complex species from pre-existing simpler form. So from simpler form, how complex species are formed. That gradual development is called evolution. It is a slow process. So evolution is a slow process. It results in diversity of organisms. So diverse organisms are produced as a result of evolution, and this evolution is influenced, production of diverse organisms is influenced by the environmental factors. They are environmentally selected. Next, we are going to see how evolution happens under different categories. First of all, let us consider a group of red beetles were there and they are reproducing. We know that during the process of reproduction, variation occurs, and due to this variation, green color beetles are produced. Now the crows, they are eating the red beetle alone because the crows cannot able to distinguish the green color of the beetle and the green color of the leaf. So it's eating the red beetle alone. As a result, what happens in due course of time, all the red beetles were eaten by the crow and only the green beetles, they continue to survive in that area. Here the crow acts as a natural selector. It selects the green color. Okay, so this green color becomes the survival advantage for the beetle because the crow cannot distinguish the green color of the beetle and the leaf. So here the green color becomes survival advantage for the beetle, and this happens because of natural selection. So here from red to green color beetle, they continue to survive because of natural selection, and here the crow acts as a natural selector. So evolution happens because of natural selection. The next case, consider a group of red beetles. They are reproducing, and during reproduction, variation occur, and due to this variation, blue color beetles are formed. By a chance or by an accident, what happens? The red beetles were destroyed by an elephant. Now what happens? Only the blue beetle, they continue to survive in their area. Here what happens? There is a gene flow between red to blue color by a chance or by an accident. This process is called genetic drift. So genetic drift is nothing but flow of genes by an accident or chance. So what is genetic drift? The flow of genes here from red to blue color happens by a chance or by an accident. So it is called genetic drift. So evolution occurs because of genetic drift also. Okay, let me proceed for the next. This is the case 3. Here what happens? The red beetles were there, a group of red beetles were there. Suddenly there was some plant disease. The plants were attacked by some plant disease. So what happens? Ultimately, the food for the red beetles have been reduced. When food is not available, what will happen? The size of the beetle gets reduced. So beetles become smaller in size. In due course of time, the plant has been recovered from the plant disease. So again the beetles are able to get their normal food. Now what happens? The beetles, they regain their normal size. So even though for small period of times, for few generation, because of starvation, because of scarcity of food, the size of the beetle reduced, but on gaining the normal food, the beetles once again they become in normal size. So such traits are called as acquired trait. So the organism that is acquiring in its lifetime are called as acquired trait. But the evolution that happens because of acquired trait may not be passed to its generation, because here in the acquired trait, what happens? The changes that happens in the body cells, not in the genome, genetic material. So once again, when the condition is recovered, what happened? The beetles become normal in size once again. So whatever that is there in the genome, genetic material alone will be passed to the next generation. So the acquired trait may not be passed to the next generations. Next, let me see what are the difference between acquired trait and inherited trait. The traits acquired by the organism during its lifetime. So whatever the knowledge we are gaining during our lifetime, like learning, reading, then learning to know cycling. So all these things are acquired traits, and it does not direct the evolution. It won't direct the evolution, because that happens only in the body cells, not in the germ cells. And what is inherited traits? The traits that are inherited from the parents to the offsprings are inherited traits. The traits that are transmitted from parents to the offspring are inherited traits. The traits that are present in DNA will be passed to the next generation. So whatever change that we are bringing to the DNA only will be passed to the next generations. So it directs the evolution. Next, so this is an illustration to show that acquired trait are not passed to the generations. Consider a group of mice were there, and surgically we are removing the tails of the mice, and for few this generations of mice were without tail. When they are reproducing, the mice without tails are reproducing, what happens? The progeny produced have tail. Why? Because surgically removing the tail does not change the germ cells of the mice. So there is no change in the germ cells. So what will happen? Ultimately, that may not be passed to the generation. So only the thing, whatever changes we are doing in the germ cells, if there is any change in the germ cell, only that will be passed to the progeny. Here we are removing the tails surgically by artificial means. Okay, so that may not be passed, that may not be recorded in the germ cell, so it is not passed. So the progenies are having the tail. I hope you all understand what is evolution and how evolution occurs under various conditions. Evolution occurs because of natural selection, genetic drift, and also due to acquired trait. But when the variations occurs, when there is a change because of acquired trait, that may not be passed to the next generations. Whatever the change that we are giving, that is happening in the germ cell, only will be passed to the next generations. Next, we are going to see about few theories. The first theory what we are going to see is the theory of natural selection. So because of natural selection, evolution occurs, isn't it? So who proposed this natural selection? It was proposed by Charles Darwin. Who proposed natural selection? It was Charles Darwin. So Darwin proposed the natural selection. What he said that organism, they struggle for existence, and the organism which is gaining in the struggle only will be able to survive in the surrounding. So the theory of natural selection involves the struggle for existence and the survival of the fittest. Only the organism which gains in the existence alone will survive. Okay, so that is called survival of fittest. So in struggle of children, next we are going to see about few theories. The first is the theory of natural selection. It was proposed by Charles Darwin. He was a naturalist. He stated that all organisms, they struggle for existence, and the organism who wins in the struggle alone will survive in the environment. So natural selection states that the organism, they struggle for existence, and only the fittest organism, they survive in the environment. Next, J.B.S. Haldane, he states that the life started from simple inorganic molecule. Okay, here the theory of natural selection does not say how life originated. Okay, but that was explained by Haldane. He said that life started from simple inorganic molecules. From the simple inorganic molecules only life started. It was proposed by Haldane. And another proposal for origin of life was given by Stanley L. Miller and Harold C. Urey. What did they said? They did an experiment to show that life starts from inorganic substances. For that, they set up an artificial environment that are similar to the early earth, and in that they maintained gases like ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, methane over oxygen. And what did they do? They maintained this environment below 100 degrees Celsius, and they passed a spark over this apparatus in order to create the lightning. As a result, what they found? They found that amino acid was formed as a result. We know that these amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and proteins are necessary for existence of the characters, isn't it? The characteristics are because of the traits, and traits are expressed because of protein, and these amino acids are the building block of protein. So thus Stanley and Harold, they proposed that from inorganic substances only organic substances are formed and life started to originate. Okay children, I hope you have understood this content. Thank you for watching, and keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.